In this segment, I'm going to talk about lyrics. And to a lot of people, lyrics are synonymous with the song. And the bias is sort of towards that because the lyric is what the song is about. The music is, and I'm primarily a lyricist, so there are all sorts of musicians around the world. Right now I hear them shaking their fists and disagreeing, but the music, all of it is supporting the message that you have in that song if you're writing a song with lyrics. Number one question that everybody gets, and when I was a fiction writer, I got it about fiction, and I'm a songwriter, and I get it about songwriting, is where do you get your ideas? And it's not that I don't want to tell you. It's that for every song I've written, I can tell you where I got the idea for that song. But I don't know where the idea for any of the songs that are coming up are coming from. And the reason is, as we talked about in another section, preparing yourself as an artist, looking at the world with an artist's eye, sort of means that you know the whales that have to eat like a certain amount of tonnage, this is an example for me, a certain amount of tonnage a day, and they're huge and they eat microscopic things. And the only way they're able to do that is because they open their mouth and they have this net bone thing in their mouth, and everything that they swim through goes into them and they digest it. That is a disgusting but apt description of what you have to do when you're a songwriter. You never know what's going to go down your gullet and come regurgitated back out of the song. Well, that's probably not the most lyrical description you've heard of that, but it's apt. So you always want to be aware of things around you. The song that we sort of workshopped earlier, Fortune's Courtesan, that one came about. I can tell you where I got the idea for that song. It was synchronicity. If you start being aware of things, like I'm saying as far as the whale's gullet, you start being aware of things, weird coincidences or synchronicities will happen. One time, within the course of 2 days, I heard the word courtesan 3 times, and I probably had heard the word courtesan twice in my life previous to that. It was Dangerous Liaisons. I saw it in that, and I actually heard someone in conversation use it. And then I heard it on some commercial, and I thought, that's a really weird, interesting, Renaissance-y word. Because I'd already written that little musical piece. It sounded sort of Renaissance-y, and I didn't want to write a song about somebody in the Renaissance, because it just would have been just too cheesy even for me. So I used it as a metaphor in that case. A lot of times you'll run across interesting words. That's what your notebook is useful for. I literally wrote down courtesan. The word courtesan circled into my notebook. Then when I'm sitting down to write, I flip through my notebook and I've got all sorts of scraps of things. And the right one will jump out at you at the right time, but only if you have things in your notebook. Don't wait till inspiration strikes. Don't wait until, oh, I've got a great idea for a song and I'll sit down and write it and there'll just be a few things crossed out and some arrows and stuff. No, write down everything, even if it's dumb. 98% of it you'll never use, but that 2% is your bread and butter. That's the stuff that goes down the whale's gullet. And I apologize to you for not coming up with a nicer example, but that's the best one, the most accurate one that I